Let's be real, guys. We never get tired of racing, right? But sometimes it's good to go a little crazy. Especially if it takes us back to the roots, where many of us learned to love racing. How about Hot Wheels? But this time your imagination becomes reality. Now we don't have to play on our carpets anymore. Let's check it out. Whoever thinks that Hot Wheels Unleashed is created by some gigantic studio with no racing background is dead wrong. Hot Wheels Unleashed is being released on September 30, 2021 by MotoGP developer Milestone. While it is obviously something rather different, it does show that it is not a small game by any means. The basic idea of Hot Wheels is simple: wild, explosive racing with a touch of insanity at every turn. You collect and customize your vehicles to your desires. You can get up to 66 different cars, including original Hot Wheels creations, some funky pop culture references, and cars from real manufacturers. This enhances the playability factor by a lot and lets you really hunt those fan favorites. Cars can be acquired by collecting gold coins through races. These can be used to buy specific vehicles from a daily rotating roster, or get a blind box and cash in on that all-important surprise factor. The all-important overtake factor is only available if you hit the bell and subscribe, however. This way you will never miss another release. But back to the cars. The vehicles are separated into different rarities. There are common, rare, and legendary as the usual ones, and the cars from the Super Treasure Hunt. We liked that common or rare cars can compete with higher rarity vehicles as well. This way it doesn't feel too much like a slot machine, where you have to be lucky to get good loot. The car evaluation is what we come to expect from more arcade-style racing games. There's the speed, braking power, acceleration, handling, and boost fuel. The latter you can think of as NOS from Need for Speed Underground. A short increase of power which allows you to be lightning fast for a certain amount of time. But in this game, it can have a tremendous impact. Some of the tracks feature loops, and to get through them, it is essential to use your boost fuel as gravity pulls your vehicle down. If you want to stay competitive, you have to pace yourself. The other attributes can each be felt very specifically. A light, formula-like car is as tough as a box of chocolate, but fluid in the handling department. You will meet the wall more often, but as the cars are largely indestructible, that won't be too much of an issue. On the other hand, there are bullish cars like the Roller Toaster. Yeah, it's a driving toaster. You saw that correctly. Tanks like that can shoot their way through weaker cars and leave a trail of destruction in their path. Of course, it won't compete in the speed department, but you can still have a major impact with it. That's the enjoyable thing about these attributes. You never drive the same car. Some feel similar, but most of the time you get exactly what you see: uniqueness and fun. If we look at the actual gameplay, we see that Hot Wheels Unleashed does not have to bow down to any of the competition of similar racing games like Mario Kart or Nickelodeon Kart Racer. If you want to know more about the latter, you can watch a review of the game right after you're done with this video. Hot Wheels is focused on smoothness, and you feel it. Corner speed is often unbelievably high, yet it doesn't feel impossible to get through the turns, depending on which car you brought to the fray. The implemented drifting mechanics help with that a lot. With each drift you load up your boost fuel, which just works beautifully. The more you drift, the more you will make up afterwards, by simply having more boost fuel. Compared to games like Mario Kart, it can be discouraging if you fall behind though. A significant mistake can easily cost you the race. So if you're not on your mark immediately, you are in for a bad ride. Other than that, Hot Wheels Unleashed seems very polished in the gameplay department. Nothing feels weird and the movements of the models are coherent. You rarely feel like something shouldn't have happened at a certain point, which gives you a feeling of validation and makes driving feel enjoyable. Enjoyability and fun is a good subject from which to transition to our next topic: the tracks. Of course, Hot Wheels does not sport an ordinary road course as their ground to race on. The authentic orange roadway is what hosts most of the racing action. Every track is set in one of 6 venues that are interchangeable. Each single-player circuit offers special characteristics that can impact the race. A boost fuel field can give you that extra bit of speed right before the end, and a gigantic spider can leave you screaming for your mommy if you aren't careful. The game also offers a track editor that allows players to build their own versions of Spiderville. After a short tutorial, you can be as creative as possible, which is enhanced by the very smooth controls of the menu. Nothing feels labored, and after you get the gist, it is time to bring out the old toys and recreate the days of yore. However, something which is missing is some kind of suggestion function for the track editor. It is very hands-off, so if you don't have a concrete idea, the game won't be giving you one either. In terms of atmosphere, the game runs a thin line between attracting a younger audience and activating that bit of nostalgia we talked about before. Music and graphics fit perfectly for the kind of fast and wacky action Hot Wheels stands for. Rock and fresh beats mixed with bright colors make the whole experience of Hot Wheels wholesome and a welcome difference from the everyday grey tarmac of road racing. On a PC with medium specs, it was able to run without a flaw on the highest graphic settings while constantly sporting 60 FPS. While not the most graphic intense game created to date, this fluidity is very welcome given the game's heavy emphasis on smooth inputs. We played with a controller, and it is hard to imagine this game being played any other way. Like Trackmania, the inputs are just too fast and over the top for any wheel to be sufficient. While ultimately a fun game, the incentives provided to the players are excellent. You have what is called the basement. This area is your personal and customizable space, and each race unlocks something for you to put in there. In online races, it is used to represent you and what you find cool. So even while you are not fully invested in gaining ELO or rating, you still want that ultra cool owl standing on your desk, right? Jokes aside, it is still a nice middle ground to keep you interested for the long run though. The single player story is also neatly designed, but lacks a little ambition at times. There's a short description and the race follows immediately afterwards. A short cutscene or animation would probably enhance the feeling even more. As it is, it feels like you're playing an old Nintendo game and just gradually progressing through the stages. Same story with the multiplayer. Up to this point, there are only a handful of options to choose from. With a little bit more incentive, this game could be a real time muncher. Hot Wheels Unleashed knows its audience, that is for sure. This game is the definition of cool. Nostalgia mixed with fun and interactive gameplay, and something for collectors as well. Does it redefine the racing genre? Not at all. But that's not the plan here. You want to play this game while with your friends or after a tough race in your rig to put you right back into a good mood. The game feels polished and makes sense. There were only a few parts, like the single player story that was slightly loveless at times, that dampened our enthusiasm. With a strong lineup of available platforms, Hot Wheels Unleashed will release on September 30th on PlayStation 4 and 5, Nintendo Switch and Xbox Series X, Xbox One, and PC. Crossplay will be enabled for consoles of the same family. Our suggestion is to pick it up if you want to dive into your past and make every Hot Wheels race a reality once and for all. If you are hungry for a bit of lighthearted fun, you won't be disappointed. For more esports racing content in general, visit overtech.gg or our YouTube and other social channels. On the right, you can find our most recent software review of Rims Racing. That's it from me, and until next time, cheerio.